y'all. Hey, y'all. It's your girl, Attorney Simone, and we are talking Kim Porter's book. I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in the chat. We got to talk about this book, y'all. Everyone has been talking about the new book out, which is called Kim's Lost Words. Kim's Lost Words. So this is supposed to be the book that from Puffy's. Ooh, hold on one second. Oh yes. Y'all, I'm getting personal text messages right now as we speak. Oh yeah, this is the background. I am reporting live today, guys, from Sean P. Diddy Combs' cell block. Okay. This is his cell block. It's quiet. You see, this one, there's no people. He's in protective custody. Okay. He's in there by himself. Because the way this man done pissed these people off, as will be discussed in this book, honey. He can't be around others. Nope, 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 nope. He's going down. In the words of Mary J. Blige, down. Speaking of Mary J., this book is so salacious. What we're going to get into is we're going to do a summary. I'm not going to read from it. And here's why. I'm your legal bestie. It is my job to infotain you, entertain you, and make sure nobody gets locked up. Not on my watch. Okay? Where's order in the court? Order in the court. And it is actually unlawful. It is considered copyright infringement to read an entire book or to read a book online without the permission of the author. So I'm not trying to set myself for any other lawsuits. I already got a cease and desist letter from the Golds, the fake Golds, the Walden Golds, whatever they want to call themselves, Christian and Jennifer. So I don't need this alleged author. And we're going to talk about him, honey. We're going to talk about him. So we're going to talk about the facts. I'm going to give you the facts, the summary. I want to see your comments in the chat on what you think. Do you believe this book? There are a number of people in the chat I see now have already read the book. We're going to talk about legally what new charges, what additional charges can or will be added, where we are in the case. I want to debunk some myths. As an attorney, there are a lot of myths and inaccuracies about it. But also, we're going to talk about who else might get brought into this as well. Hold on one second. Hold on. So let's see. Diddy is detoxing right now. He doesn't know or really care where he is. He is hurting. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you do all these bad things. He's a bad, bad boy. Somebody said the background. Yes, that is the background. This is his cell block. You see, it's real quiet. It's real quiet over there. It's just him and a few of, his other high profile buddies. Where can you get the book? You can get it on Amazon. Actually, I have an Amazon link. I'm going to put it in the description. That way, when you get it, it's going to give me a little bit of credit. It's going to give me a little credit. When did the book come out? So that's important. So the book, according to the documentation, states that it was drafted September 6th, but it wasn't printed until the 20th. The 20th was basically right after Diddy was arrested. So the author is claiming that he didn't feel safe to release it until Diddy was arrested, and that is why he is releasing it now. Somebody said, "Hey y'all, good time to take an afternoon walk from the bar." Hey Brandy, welcome. Amazon just delivered yours. Okay, yes. So again, I'm not going to be reading directly from it like some people. I know there's some places that are. We're not going to do that because that's against the law. That's copyright infringement. So we're not going to do that. But, I don't think that anybody who is, they're not going to get sued by this guy. He's got bigger fish to fry. He's about to get sued by Will Smith and Jada Smith and Jay-Z, because here's why, honey. I got my little notes. Now, I'm going to go into the juicy facts. Then we're going to break down the law as it pertains to this. I'm not sure. Sandra McGee says, I'm not sure if it's fact or fiction, because he stated he received this information from people close to Kim. So it's really important to start with, how did this book come about? The author, now here's what's interesting. This author. So the book lists the name Jamal T. Millwood as the author. First of all, I thought it was very funny that he picked a Negro name, okay? It's really a Caucasian man named Chris Todd is the alias that he used. So his real name is really not Jamal T. Millwood, although that's what he put on here. It's also, he uses Chris Todd. That's also not his real name, because Chris keeps getting sued. he writes these books, these tell-alls, and produces these little tell-all things on other cases. So he's allegedly done one where he claims that he knows who OJ's true accomplice was. Let me show you a little clip from that. Yeah, let me show you. Here's a clip. This is the author, the so-called author of Kim's book. His name is Christopher Todd. We're going to add it to the stage. I want you to see this little.
Am I going to sue someone?
So he is he's being interviewed by someone else. This is in regards to other so-called tell-alls he's written. He's written one on OJ. And this is him who's going by on this book, Jamal.
Somebody over it? No, I'm not. I promised them I wouldn't. They want to put me in jail. Like, this is how ridiculous these people in Hollywood are. They're so petty. They're so elitist. They are such bullies. And a lot of people have these stories. It's not just me. I learned that.
He's not talking about Kim's book. Other books that he's written that were.
All right. We are back with Chris Todd. Last time I had you on, Chris, we were talking about OJ Simpson. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Eric. Thanks for having me back on. Really appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate it too. Now, today we're going to go into another subject, and I've come to discover, through talking to you off the record, things like that, you're a producer, a writer, director. You got 2 Emmys, a couple of cons, been Fox, NBC. You're the rights holder of Aaron Hernandez, Natalie Wood, Emmett Till, and Chuck Workman. You work for all the studios, it seems, practically. Why are you going by Chris Todd, though? That's under another name. So why are you here as Chris Todd?
Well, like in Hollywood, everyone uses a stage name or a pen name. Sometimes it's to protect family members. I have a unique last name. And over the years, I've had a lot of contentious situations with Hollywood executives, actors, producers. I've had lawsuits about movies and shows and a lot of crazy stuff. And that's part of my story. So it's part of my journey and why I changed my name to Chris Todd. Chris is my middle name. So this actually is my name. I just jumbled it a little bit. And when I got into the investigative producing or journalism, being an author on these true crime cases in that genre, after about 20 years, 18 years in Hollywood on scripted, non-scripted kind of fantasy stuff, I never was in the investigative space till about 8 years ago. So I had to kind of change my name out of protection of my family. And I also wanted to rebrand myself. I'll be honest. I kind of wore out my first go-ahead at trying to be.
Or you're a liar. Or you're a liar. Or you're a liar. Let's go in. Somebody said, did she know him? Did Kim know him? No, Kim did not know him. Okay. Kim didn't know him at all, which is odd. So the question is, of all the people in the world, he is claiming that someone close to Kim had a jump drive that had her diary on it. And that is what he was given. I just want you to be clear because context matters. This man has been sued multiple times for these so-called tell-alls that he has drafted. He did one that's supposed to be a memoir about OJ Simpson, etc. And he keeps using these aliases and these fake names so that he says so people can't find him. Honey, ain't nothing happened to you. Ain't nothing happened to you so far. But when I talk to you about the facts, the allegations in this book, I see why he's running and hiding and scared. But again, he uses the pen name Jamal, which was interesting. He picked a Negro name. Jamal Milford is the pen name, although he's saying his name is Chris Todd. He said in this video, it's actually not Chris Todd. It's something else, which he hasn't stated here. But I just wanted you to know this is the context of where we're starting. So I'm going to pull him down. Yeah. Wait a minute. Heather said, so we listened to a boy who's lying. But baby, it's juicy. All right. So there are a number of different charges in the book. Now, the gist of it is Diddy was gay with everybody. He liked to do it to everybody. And that Kim was initially consenting to it. But one of the things, now there was a number of different things that just really grossed her out. One of which allegedly was a time when Diddy, asked to be with her and Al B. Sure. She thought it was going to be just her, Al B. Sure, and Diddy, with her. But allegedly, it is Diddy and Al B. also did some things to one another. Allegedly. The name of the book is Kim's Lost Words, as someone has asked, allegedly. And when she saw that, she was just grossed out because it was like doo-doo flying. There was doo-doo flying in a different situation. Hold on, that was with allegedly Snoop. Lord have mercy, which was another situation. But basically, it just turned her off. It freaked her out. And she was like, oh, hell no. She didn't think that she could do this. But that it was common that he would, image search him. No, yeah, sorry, the writer image search him. I'm going to go back to these comments a little bit later so I can stick. I'm going to give you guys the allegations in the book. All right. Also, what's interesting is in the book, he does a lot of XXXs. Where we're kind of left to our own devices. He gives you enough facts to put in, who we believe that certain people are. A lot of XXX. Now, some people have not read the book. I'm going to certainly give you a chance to. Someone said, has the book been removed? Because I can't find it. I don't know if someone could put a link to the book in the chat. Many believe that the book that the jump drive came from Kimora Lee Simmons, that she had released it because she wanted this out. Now, I'm going to keep going. He implies that they would have these orgies. The diary implies that there would be these orgies. Some of the most famous people in the orgies were Will and Jada. It's alleged that they frequently would have them with Will and Jada. Now, I will say my understanding of how these rich freaky people operate is that they prefer to be freaky with other rich people who have as much to lose. Thank you so much for the super chat, Sandra McGee. Someone said the book is hard to find. Great. All right. We got a link to the book that is in the chat there. Stephanie says, I believe it all. So again, it's supposed to be, now we had heard rumors for years about Will and Jada. And when I saw Jada was dating that cute little Fruit Loop, Augusta Alsina, I said, oh, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Because he's just as cute as can be. Today he likes boys, but maybe some Saturdays and Sundays he likes girls, a little bit of the two. I'm not sure. But Will and Jada. So Will and Jada, they would often sleep in the same bed. It was very common that they would mess together. There was also, is alleged, the book does not use the word Snoop, but it is implied that is who they're referring to, because they're referring to someone from basically California, the West Coast, who has very strong gang ties and is a very dangerous person, but that he too would participate in the orgies and do things with Puffy. You hear what I'm saying? With Puffy. Miss KK says, as it relates to Will and Jada, August was for both of them. Miss KK, I believe you. I believe you. That sounds about right. In addition, it states that so they would use XXX, like a number of X's for Snoop. In addition, there was a discussion about how the gist of it was that Snoop knew that Biggie was getting protection. Basically, he needed protection because of the East Coast, West Coast drama that was going on. Okay. But that allegedly Jay-Z was the one that tipped off Diddy to know that Notorious B.I.G. was trying to leave Diddy, and that he and Tupac together wanted to form their own record company. Okay. So here's the thing. When I saw she started, and she didn't do no XXs. She didn't do no XXs for Jay-Z. So that's why this man here, Mr. Christopher Todd, Mr. whoever you are, Mr. Jamal, you about to get sued today. You're going to get sued eventually, I believe. Because if there's one brand that doesn't play about his money, I believe that it's Jay-Z. So I want to hear your thoughts in the chat. Do you believe? So the allegation was that Jay-Z went to Puff and said, hey, Puff, I just want to let you know, B.I.G. is going to leave you. He wants to form a group with Tupac. And we all know what happened then. The two of them went gone. Well, allegedly, Snoop was like, hey, aren't you going to protect Biggie? There's all, there's all this drama going on. And that Diddy said, why should I protect somebody that's about to leave me? Why should I protect somebody now, if you think about it, I'm just going with logistics here. Go ahead and hit that like button, y'all. Hit that notification button. The likes ain't liking quite yet. But if you think about it, if Biggie is no longer here and they have not terminated their contract, the contract between Biggie and Diddy, that means Diddy gets to control the catalog. He gets to control it, right? Because that would have meant that pursuant to the contract, Notorious Big had not fulfilled all of his album obligations, because there's so many, you get signed to somebody, you have to do so many albums, you have to complete them, blah, blah, blah. And if you want to leave before all of your album obligations are completed, you have to basically buy yourself out, or the new label you want to go to has to pay money, effectively what is believed to be the value of whatever remaining albums you have. They have to pay it to set you free. Give me free. They have to pay that, okay? But by him going bye-bye, this allows Diddy to control his catalog for life. Of course, his family, BIG's family, does get money. They get revenues, but it allows him to control it for life. Oh, we got another super chat here. Hey, celebrity scandalous. It says, but the feds can subpoena where he got the thumb drive. Yes, he would be crazy to lie like that. Excellent. Y'all, go on over when you get a chance, hit go on over, hit a subscribe to Celebrity Scandalous. She's got great tea over there. You're right. And to be clear, not just the feds. If anyone wants to sue this man for defamation, anyone, then they can subpoena and find out where he got this thumb drive from. Anybody. And that's why I believe there are just so many big names in there. I feel that someone's going to do it, because it wouldn't be the first time. This man has been sued many, many times for what's alleged to be lies. So we'll see. But you're right. At the end of the day, the defense to defamation, to a defamation or a libel claim, remember, libel is in writing, slander is verbal. And defamation through the form of libel, this writing is the defense is going to be, forgive me, I might have said that backwards, but the defense is going to be truth. So that's the other thing. If you don't see anyone filing any type of injunction or lawsuit, it might be because they don't want to bring attention to the fact that this could actually be true. We only got 400 likes, but we've got 700 watching. Let's hit that. Y'all, you have excellent questions in the chat. Keep putting them up there. All right, we're going to keep going through that. All right. We had the Will and Did. Yes. So Jay-Z has been inserted into this effectively by doing that. So apparently Kim and Diddy were at dinner one day. They were at dinner and Jay-Z comes into the restaurant and walks over and says, smiles at Kim and says hello to Diddy. And Kim responds, hey, Carter. Now, I don't know if that's what they call him or whatever, but she said, hey, Carter, acknowledging Sean Carter. And then she frequently referenced that the two Seans would basically spend time together. Now, I don't know that I believe that. Basically, she would say the two Seans would get down. I don't know that I believe that. Now, strategically, we have to remember back then, when these conversations, this was in the 90s. Jay-Z is a strategist. He will outthink you. He will outwit you when your back is turned, when your back is front. That man is going to outthink everybody else in the room. And so I could see how, especially back then, he may have found out the information about Tupac and Biggie trying to form their own label. And he may have shared that with Diddy, knowing that Diddy would put an end to all of that, because think of how strong that they would be in comparison. So, oh yes, someone says there. We all know there's an actual book of some type somewhere. She said in an interview she was working about an all hip hop book about her. Yes, she also talks about in this book throughout the years she maintained videos and things that could be used against Diddy to blackmail him. But at one point she notified him. She slipped up and said something to him about, I have tapes. And then miraculously, Kim's home was burglarized. Miraculously, her home was burglarized and much came up missing. However, it's alleged that this diary was in the cloud. And so although things were taken from her home, some of the tapes were taken, she still has these journals, these lost words, due to the fact that they were in the cloud. She also, every time she would get pregnant, she was saying Diddy wanted to have a threesome with Will and Jada, and that it was grossing her out. It would gross her out. So like the first time, I guess, was when she was pregnant with Christian. and then again with the twins, and that was disgusting. She also talked about how Diddy was actually quite mean to Miss Wallace, Big's mother. Miss Wallace do not like Diddy. Everybody knows that. Does not like Diddy, and Diddy doesn't like people that don't bow down to him. So she, Miss Wallace, has over the years, FYI, been fighting to get what she believes is her son's share of royalties and things like that. So that's consistent. She also alleges that the wording of the book alleged that Diddy was also with Usher, Bow Wow, and the implication is Bieber. They talk about a younger, didn't necessarily spell out his name like that, but Bieber. I want you to watch for this. I already see in the media, Bieber is being painted as a victim of Diddy. But the others, Bow Wow, Usher, watch, they're going to be painted as accomplices, as people who knew. So it'll be very interesting to see. Now, we know there's a difference between Bieber he's an all-American little boy, even though he's Canadian. But watch and see how this gets painted. Thank you so much for that super chat. Hold on, let me make sure I read it. Legal nerd here. How will it be possible that Diddy could get a fair trial? Can defendants in federal court request a change of venue? They certainly can. The problem is going to be this. I'm so glad you asked, True Crime TV Time. The problem is going to be this. The New York jury for federal court, which is the Southern District, that's going to be Manhattan and stuff, they're actually quite liberal. He may have a better chance of getting a fair jury there than, let's say, if they moved it to a portion of New Jersey that's very affluent and Republican. He'd have less of a chance. The problem's going to be he's so high profile that no matter where he is, people will have been following this on the news and things. So if I were his attorney, my concern is going to be, all right, if we're going to do a change of venue, what is a venue? Because it also has to be nearby. They're not going to bring him to Montana. They're not going to do that. What would be a venue where I think the jury would lean more in his favor? And I think he's probably got one of those best juries. But of course, this is the Southern District of New York, the Manhattan Federal District. They have a 95% conviction rate. Now, mind you, of all of their cases, only 1% actually go to trial. Of that 1%, 90 some actually get, 95% are found guilty. All right, here we go. So in addition, that's what I'm saying. That man is a fraud. Yeah, we're going to talk some more about this guy. I'm going to give you more facts of the book. Then we're going to talk about the writer. And I want to hear from you guys. Put in the chat, do you believe him or do you think he's a lie? Oh, nope. Put in the chat if you believe him or you think he's a lie. All right, the two. So I just talked about the allegations that the two Shynes got down together. She also made the allegation that because of Diddy, all her boyfriends passed away. All her boyfriends passed away. She also and she had Shakur was one of her boyfriends. Shakur, it was also discussed by Diddy's former security guard, Roger Deal. Roger has stated that he was aware that Diddy had an issue with Shakur because of the fact that Shakur was dating Kim. And Shakur miraculously unalived himself, even though the people around him said he was happy, he was all of those things. Particularly, she claimed, Kim claimed that other people in her life got pneumonia and passed. It has been well documented and clear that it is completely unusual for someone to have received pneumonia back then. That was 2018. All right, I'm going to keep going. In addition, so it's believed that it was Kimora that has leaked this. That has not been confirmed yet. She also, all right, this is an allegation that I'm just really not so sure of. The allegation in the book, now, mind you, this is the journal. This is supposed to be her journal. The allegation is that she calls around, she calls friends and she lets them know. She says, I'm going to pass away, like Heavy D, like Pac, like Notorious. And that she sends a message out to friends saying, he got me. There was supposed to be a 911 call as well that she made, but no one has been able to locate that 911 call. No one has been able to get a copy of that 911 call. But the allegation is that she texted her friends and family and said, he got me. Here's why I have a problem with that. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you. The issue is this. Okay. With coroners, how coroners work, coroners being the medical examiner, the person that does her autopsy, that if that had happened, that is information coroners receive. I've taken a look at her autopsy and that autopsy report previously. There was no information, allegation, supplement, anything that would have had this. Because here's the thing. Even if the coroner believes natural causes pneumonia, what's required is whenever there's that kind of information that can allude that there was a particular person caused this, in other words, that it was something other than natural causes, you have to, at a minimum, discuss it in the autopsy report and then rule it out. For example, they would say something like, one of her relatives submitted a text message allegedly from her stating he got me. The cousin believes it was in reference to her ex-boyfriend, Sean Combs. We have reviewed it. We found it to not be authenticated. Whatever. Yes, there were 2 autopsies, right? So I'm only referring to the one that I saw. Now, if the first one, even either of the 2, would have to address something like this if they were notified by the police. I believe if this had happened, this stuff was given to the police. And I know that we all know that her loved ones believed that this was a suspicious murder. So they likely provided certain things. But when it's something as damning as the decedent saying, so-and-so did this, so-and-so got me, then absolutely that would have been included in some capacity, even if it was just to rule it out. The question is, could the coroner have been influenced by money? Absolutely. Baby, let me make sure you guys understand. Did y'all know coroners are elected? Ew. They're actually elected. They run for office in most states. It's weird. Why in the hell should you have to vote for your county coroner? You're either a doctor or not. Okay. You can either do this job well or not. Us, it should not be a freaking homecoming popularity contest on whether or not you can be the medical examiner. I'm clarifying. I'm talking about the medical examiner. So all of that is strange. And when you say, could they have been influenced by money? Well, same way any elected official can be, right? We've heard of stories of judges being paid off. We absolutely have. Do I have any thoughts on why the unalivings haven't come up in the court documents? Oh, yes. Yes. Let me get through a few more facts and then I will. Thank you so much for the super chat. Y'all, I really appreciate the super chats. It lets Instagram know that you guys are enjoying my content, but more importantly, it lets me know what topics to focus on. Ashley Lamalu stated that Ed Winter, the original coroner, has passed away. Even if he has, what we need to see are those supplemental documents. And here's why I say this. I've had cases before where the coroner's initial cause of death was just as wrong, baby. Wrong as can be. And the way that I was able to prove it was incorrect is I was able to get the supplemental documents that were relied upon. And I was able to see, hey, they didn't even have all the facts to come to this conclusion. And then I was able to then create documents, or not create documents, but provide the current coroner with the missing information. They changed their entire opinion. So what I'm saying is here is if the coroners, the first one or the second one, were never provided with these text messages, that might be a reason he was not investigated. Diddy was not investigated before. All right, let me get a few more facts, then I'm going to answer this question that we have, this super chat. All right. So allegedly, 911 call. No one knows. Also, apparently the relationship with J-Lo was supposed to have been just for show. That there was a day when Kim and Diddy were at home chilling. J-Lo, livid, barges in and says, why did you pow in that club? And Diddy said, don't worry. Shyne is going to take the fall for it, honey. Shyne is going to take the fall for it. Now, if this is true, because the claim, one of the 3 counts is RICO, the feds, it's not too late. The feds can interview J-Lo and ask her if that's true. Because what does the RICO say he did? That he would set up crimes and then set up ways in which to get off is the gist. So if this is true, oh, Miss J-Lo, you're not going to get to be you're not going to be able to keep clean. And I could see how back then, even if J-Lo knew good and well, Shyne did not do that. Back then, her career was hanging by a string, baby. That girl couldn't sing for her supper. Okay, if it was not for Ashanti in the background tracks that Ashanti was pulling together, oh, there would be no J-Lo today. Okay, that's just what it is. And so I could see why J-Lo didn't want to distract people from her terrible singing and her, upcoming career by engulfing herself in this lawsuit, because it was my understanding she did not even get called as a witness. I could be incorrect about that, but from what I recall, she didn't testify in that case, and that's weird. That's weird, because if there's anybody who would have been terrified of perjuring herself, it would have been her. But it was also pretty terrible for Shyne, because Shyne, see, Diddy set Shyne up and did not pay for Shyne's legal counsel. So this poor little immigrant boy, who at the time was freshly on the album, but had not made any substantial money, he's over here with a basic lawyer that he's having to pay out of pocket. I think it may have even been a court-appointed lawyer at some point. I'll have to confirm that. All right, but she confirmed that this journal allegedly confirmed that, one, J-Lo and Diddy's relationship was for show. Also, that the 3 of them used to get down together. They would do the nasty together. Let's see. That of course she talked about abuse throughout it. She talked about various instances of abuse, and those were corroborated by Roger Deal, Diddy's former security officers, his security guard. Another celebrity name that was dropped in here that I thought was interesting, Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is referenced in there, as well as the fact that he too, had a very suspicious. His wasn't death, but he got very sick, and that was my Cash App. Oh, let me show you my Cash App. Hold on, let me show you my Cash App. My Cash App is Miss Redwine right here, MISS Redwine. And before we go any further, I need to. There's another thing. I want to remind you guys. Oh, no. Hold on. Okay, here we are. I want to remind you guys, you can also book a consultation with me, Attorney Simone. Here we are. You can go to SimoneRedwine.com, book a consultation. You can also get my book, Background Checks 101, The Beginner's Guide to Finding Out Who the Heck You're Actually Dealing with. It's only $19.99. Yeah, it's giving Cardi B meets Judge Judy and Whitley Gilbert, or Nancy Grace. But you can scroll all the way down to book Simone. I have 30-minute consultations available. I can assist you. Here we go. Oh, well, here we go. Right here. Here we go. Book Simone. There. Oh, come on. There it is. And here you can book a consultation with me. It's got my calendar, blah, blah, blah. But I really appreciate that as well. Let me move that back up. But it says, Shyne said witnesses were paid to testify against him. Oh, yes. Absolutely. We're going to include, I'm going to star this. I'm going to come back to this. I want to make sure I'm continuing to give you all the facts. So yes, Jamie Foxx, and I'll be sure, at one point is not rumored, but at one point, Jamie Foxx was interested in Kim. And of course, Diddy had he nixed that in the bud. And Jamie Foxx also was mysteriously found to be sick. And his ailments and things were very similar to pneumonia. Now, it was not confirmed exactly what his diagnosis was, but he was absolutely on death's door, according to Jamie himself. It's also alleged, according to Kim's words, that Diddy set Pac up, that he set Pac up to get pow-powed, and that he was very clear about that. And he did not want he did not want Pac and Biggie to join together, basically, because they would have clobbered him. They would have killed his fledgling record label at this. Yep, Abita just said there's too many coincidences. Thank you, Roger Bond. Thank you so much. Roger Bond, not Roger Deal. I apologize. Roger, there's another Roger Bond that's like in baseball, so I always forget the two. She gives Snoop. We got the three. We got that. We got all of that. Oh yeah. Also, sometimes Diddy really loved the butt stuff. That was just very clear. I'm just going to tap on this. I know we don't like talking about the butt stuff all the time, but Diddy apparently really liked the butt stuff to the point where sometimes he couldn't even walk straight after sessions, and that became like it was like a total turnoff for Kim, right? Oh, what's his name? Snoop was also very clear. Snoop has said, listen, if something was to happen to one of your artists, this would be within your control, right? Like, as in, like, you're going to protect your artist. And Kim talked about the fact that, like, she was very naive and didn't really understand what was being discussed at the time. But in retrospect, realizes it was Puff saying, I'm not only am I not protecting, but I'm going to basically allow this person to be unalive because he felt he was unloyal. And so as far as Diddy was concerned, anyone unloyal could go. Anyone unloyal could go. And what was Kim allegedly at the end of her time? Disloyal to him. All right. Also, there's supposed to be a tape circulating in Hollywood, y'all, of Diddy with a young superstar. It's believed that it's probably Bieber. In that situation, Lord have mercy. In that situation, that video is alleged to have been floating around, and we should hear more about that soon, if that is the case. But it's alleged that there was about $200 million that was paid, perhaps, to make that video go away. Now, interestingly, with Bieber, he recently sold his catalog. You remember that? He recently sold his catalog. And so, which means all the songs he's made to date, he's getting paid for it today. He's not going to get paid for it for the rest of his life. Those songs, he sold away those rights. Some believe that may have been because he was anticipating getting wrapped up into this. Because again, 300 people were sent subpoenas by the feds. The moment you get that subpoena, you know, oh, hell, it's on. Whatever my secrets are about to become public. So, do you think that Bieber may have chose to sell his catalog for $200 million recently and get that money, thinking, okay, if I get wrapped up in this lawsuit, it could impact my brand, my money, my all of that? Because when you get wrapped up in this kind of nasty stuff, you really have to pull away from the media, pull away from those audiences, and make sure that you get an opportunity to have crisis management, implement all that, and then you can return to limelight. Because think about it, you got a new tour coming, but it's been revealed that you were Diddy's boy toy. Any interview that you do, baby, we don't want to talk about the boy toy. Was y'all kissing and hugging? Let's talk about that first. Don't nobody care about your little Shabbat Bop Boom song you got going on. Okay, we're gonna deal with the Shabbat Bop Boom later. We want to know what was happening with Diddy. Yeah. Angela said he probably wants to lay low. Ooh, Jay Thompson said she does not trust Gene Deal. He wants everyone to look at everyone except him when he was standing by the door or the room. Good point. All right, so we're almost done. Oh, it was also confirmed in this book. The allegation is that Clive Davis was allegedly also one of the boos, as well as Kimora and her would have their rendezvous. That makes me think that this may not have been Kimora's doing. I just don't. Kimora is not going to stoop this low. Here's why I don't think this was anyone who really was actually close with Kim. Is because if they were, baby, they not coming to this little weirdo man, Chris Todd, aka Jamal, to have him release anything. Nobody takes him seriously in Hollywood. He's not respected. He's considered odd, weird, and strange, among other things. And everything Kimora does is like high level, well executed, classy for the most part. And so I could see her, she would go to like a legitimate publisher. She's not going to somebody who done printed that stuff in Capel, Texas. Yes, girl. Yes, boys. That is where it was printed up the street from my people's house in Oak Cliff. Okay. On somebody's laser printer. That's just not what I believe anyone close to Kim would have done. So you have to really think about how this was rolled out. And finally, let's see, we got the rights. Oh, yes. And then we've got, here's the other thing I want you guys to pay attention to. Now, for those of y'all who've read the book, oh, thank you so much, Delisha, for the Cash App. I really appreciate that. I want to show you guys this. All right. Now, when you read the book, something weird in this book is that when he gives a lot of the names, he'll do blank, 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 right? But then he leaves enough clues for you to figure out who he's talking about. Well, this is a Reddit thread about some murder mystery that he was talking, a whistleblower murder that he had done a movie on, the Delphi whistleblower trial. I know it was misspelled here, trial. And what this is supposed to be, y'all look at this. This is supposed to be so-called evidence of emails that were sent to him with information on this. So like this email says, sorry to bother you, but I thought you might find this interesting. The XXX at the time, by the name of XXX, asked me to look into the following experts, blah, 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 who did the following body comparisons, is in the XXX for the most convictions based on da-da-da-da-da XXX work. When I presented these to XXX, no one took them seriously. Anyways, I won't keep bothering you. Take care. What this Reddit thread is about is all about how the alleged author of Kim's Lost Diaries, okay, this was 2 years ago. He did a movie about allegedly the Delphi whistleblower trial. That's basically, it was a murder trial where it was alleged that the family member, that basically the wrong person was convicted. And what this person is saying in the thread is that they said, I'm not saying that any of Chris Todd, air quotes, investigative journalists who wrote the book on the unalivings, right, are legit in any way. What I want everyone to see is the nonsense that is being put out there. When are these people going to stop hurting the families? In other words, it was a family that was unalived in this situation. What they're saying is this so-called evidence, here we go, this so-called evidence, look, it's the same XXXs that were used in Kim Porter's book. And all of this, it sounds nutty, okay, is the answer. So I want to hear from you guys. Do you think Kim's people really gave this quack of a man, hold on, I'm going to put his face back up there. This is the man, y'all. This him. Here he go. Do y'all really think that they gave this man, here we go, a jump drive of her diary? What? So that he basically self-published it. He's an investigative journalist with 2 asterisks on either side of his name. Does Joanne Reed have asterisks? No, for a good reason. Does Don Lemon have asterisks next to journalist? No, because he's an actual journalist. So here's what do I believe? Here's the thing. The other issue that I have with this book, everything that was in there were like conspiracy theories that were toyed with over the years. There's nothing in there that was new aside from the whole, she sent the text message that said he got me. But here's the thing. If I'm actually passing away, I will text my friends, but I'm not also putting it in a journal. I'm not journaling it. So I don't believe, I don't believe these are Kim's words. I'm going to say that. I don't believe these are her words, but I do believe that a lot of these things did in fact happen. I believe that they happened, but I believe that Kim likely talked about this with her homegirls, with her confidants, with her friends over the years. So there's a number of people who can corroborate this. You know, these Diddy rumors about his activities, his orgies, these have been going on for 25 years. Rumors like that don't persist if they don't have some meat behind them. Someone says, we have to wait until trial. And hold on, there was some starred questions that I want to get to, because most importantly, before we go, I want to talk about the additional charges that I think are going to come out of some of these facts. All right. So we got, thank you, Sandra McGee, for the super sit. Where do the proceeds from the book sales go since she's gone? That's the other thing. It's right now it's going to his pocket. And that's not right. If you are doing what's alleged to be a tell-all, it should go to her estate. Her estate would be for the children. I'm sure she passed with a will. She owned property and various things. So this money should go to her estate. You cannot draft a book claiming to be her personal thoughts and things, even if her friend or whoever it is gave it to this man. Baby, once somebody dies, the law is anything that was theirs belongs to the estate. So the friend who so-called gave the jump drive didn't have the right to do that. Did not have the right. If anybody other than one of the heirs gave that jump drive to this man, they're in trouble. That's considered theft. Just like stealing from somebody's grave. So he's in trouble all kinds of ways. But my anticipation is that he feels like the only person that can sue him, Diddy, is now going to be so engulfed in, not having bail and fighting his criminal that no one's going to come after him from this. But baby, Quincy is a whole grown man. Quincy could come after him. Whoever the executor is for the girls, Diddy's mother, anybody like that could come after him. So the answer is because that jump drive belonged to the estate, only the estate has the right to give it away, sell it, whatever. And I doubt that happened. And therefore, everybody's about to be in trouble. Celebrity Santa says, but the feds can subpoena. Yep, we addressed that one. Can defendants in federal court request a change of venue? We did that. Ooh, thank you so much for the super chat. Aries, the book is out. Tisa tells us reading the chapters last night. That's correct. Y'all want to be careful with that, though. If you want to do that in a small group, just be careful because technically it's copyright infringement. In the same way that like you can't sing someone's song. You can't put up someone's like song. You can't, but that's fine. Like it's that man, he's about to be sued. That man is in the author is about to be sued so many times. He ain't I don't think he ain't going after no content creators. In fact, he wants more people to buy the book. Shyne said witnesses were paid to testify against him. Again, that is part of the RICO claim. Shyne is going to be one of the key witnesses. Additional key witnesses, I believe, are going to be, let's see. So with RICO, I believe the biggest claims that they are currently working on. Okay, do I believe Hogue? Okay, I'll get to that. So as far as the key witnesses, I believe it's going to be his security. His security has already put himself at and in so many different situations. So the security is going to be key. So Roger, separately as Gene, his other security officer, they're going to be key. But also Shyne. Shyne is literally going to get his opportunity to shine in court. Oh, and remember the woman who was shot in the face, who said, Diddy shot me, not Shyne? Her too. Because part of the RICO is covering up crimes. So this is an opportunity for these crimes that otherwise the statute of limitations has passed. Now they get to be brought into here. I believe what the feds are also trying to do is get at least one unaliving. Y'all know what I'm saying? One unaliving to be wrapped up into this RICO. If you compare it to the YSL trial, in the YSL trial, yes, there was the music label and there was the drugs and all of that stuff. But what they really were using as a linchpin is that there were multiple people who have been unalived by people in the gang. And it was claimed that the gang itself orchestrated and, created that. So I say that to say here, Kim's death could be critical. Shakur's death, the one that was alleged to be his own personal unaliving, critical. Tupac, Diddy, Tupac, Notorious Big, all of these deaths. Why? There's no statute of limitations on that offense, right? When you take somebody's life, no statute of limitations. So I do believe that what they're trying to do is get information. The feds are getting information together so that they can have at least one unaliving being the linchpin to really securing that guilty verdict for the RICO. Also, someone said, Little Rod. Yes, Little Rod will certainly be called as a witness. I'm sure he has already sat down with the feds and done an investigation. But it is important to note, it appears the feds do not believe Little Rod's allegations are strong enough to be the core of this takedown of Diddy. His will not be the core of the criminal allegations. So that's interesting. That means they probably find a credibility issue with him. The reason I say that is because throughout the indictment, not one of the offenses referenced Little Rod, but they did reference both Cassie and Kid Cudi. Absolutely. Yes, Ziggy Lee, thank you so much for the super chat. Says feelings for Diddy's daughter. Absolutely. They didn't sign up for this. They really didn't. Somebody said DMX. He's gone. I just got it yesterday, but haven't started reading it yet. Seems like security has been working with the feds for years. They speak so often and so freely. And I believe that is because they are, I think that's because they saw so much. That is, and they're no longer working with him. And a lot of them are upset. They're upset with how they were treated and things like that. The people quickest to talk are the angry ones. Well, Elite was saying yes about Little Rod. They believed him enough to go arrest the mule and bring forth a RICO. Little Rod's filing was the one to detail how it was a criminal enterprise. Absolutely. Cassie, I believe Cassie's complaint also considered it a criminal enterprise, but I have no. You're right. Little Rod's did. It says made for the culture. Says, hey, don't forget when Diddy first started out, he had an event concert where people were locked in the floor collapsed and they were hurt. And then after that, magically, he started Bad Boy. Oh, yeah. Gene Deal said he will testify if he's called. Oh, he's excited to do so. Absolutely. Quincy, Justin, the twins, lost their mom. If he's behind it, that is the most devastating of all for the kids. What happened to Jay-Z? So what we talked about with Jay-Z is it's alleged in this book that Jay-Z went to Puff and said, hey, Puff, Tupac and Biggie are trying to form a label behind your back. And that was the impetus for Puff getting rid of the both of them. Specifically, Puff felt that, hey, if Notorious Big is trying to leave me, then I'm going to make him leave the earth. And so that happened. Oh, the other two things I want to make sure that we that are clear. All right, hold on. We had this question. Do I believe Hova was in discussions last week with a criminal and a divorce attorney? More reports are coming out. There's going to be a divorce. Ooh, I don't like to speak bad on the queen. Yeah. I don't know about that, but I believe him speaking to a criminal attorney would make sense because anyone who got a subpoena, if he received a subpoena, anybody who got a subpoena is going to talk to a criminal attorney. Absolutely. Because you don't want to go in there answering a subpoena without representation because you need to be very careful about what you're saying. Very careful about that. But I also want to speak to, there's two other claims that are being made. One claim is that Diddy is in the middle of working out a deal. No. Absolutely not. Here's how it works. How it works is this. Let's get that. We have over 1,400 watching. We've only got 700 likes. Let's get that on here. So here's how it works. Prior to him even getting indicted, they start indicted and arrested. They start talking about numbers a bit. Once he's indicted, they resume those talks. But right now, the two are so apart, as in the feds and Diddy's attorneys are so apart. No, ain't gonna be no deal no time soon. Here's why. The only time you take a deal is if it's such a great offer you can't refuse it. So here, a deal for Diddy would be 3 to 5 years. They put 3 to 5. Absolutely. He's taking it. Let me tell you why they won't. Not anytime soon, at least. They won't because they feel so strong about their case. They have so much information. The judge stated this week in the Bell hearing that she is being contacted. Her chambers are being contacted with people who want to share evidence with the feds. Until they go through all of that, they're not cutting no deal. That's absolutely ridiculous. Also, like I said, the numbers that they are offering, even if they're offering him, because he's facing a minimum of 15 years, maximum of life. Okay. Diddy is facing a minimum of 15 years, a maximum of life. So what happens in that case is that if it's a minimum of 15, if he gets a deal of like 15, they might present something like that. But the way Diddy is if he more than likely would want to go, if it's like 20 years or something like that, he's going to take his chances at going to trial because there's still a chance that at least one of the three he could beat. His arguments right now that his attorneys are making is, hey, this was consensual freakiness. No kids were involved. These were all grown-ups. The allegations currently on the table, these were all grown-ups. They were not any children involved. So I say that to say, if he takes a plea deal, it's going to be a plea deal that would be so good he can't refuse. Anything that's 20, 30 years, anything like that, he's going to go ahead and take his chances at trial. So there's no deal. No, there's no deal. No. Where y'all getting this stuff from? And I'm not being funny here. Like, that was the craziest thing. I've been seeing it in the chat on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays is the court of public opinion. And I was seeing it all in the chat there. And I'm like, no, not anytime soon. It's too early. The deal on the table right now would be 30 years. Diddy can't even conceive having to sit there through bail, to make bail for trial. You think that man's going to say yes to 30 days? Hail to the no. Hail to the no. No, he's not going to do that. Also, you don't give what happens is the offers start high. As it gets closer to trial time, they get more and more reasonable. So there's no deal on the table right now because they want to hear all of the people that are calling in saying, I got something for you. I got to share. I got all this information. They want to hear all that. And And then it's going to be right now, do you start with such a high offer that he's like, oh, hell no. I'm going to take my chances and go into court. I hope that makes sense to you guys. The lawyer telling the judge he was an altar boy. She said that was 50 years ago. I laughed so hard. I sure did. Sir, really? How desperate. Somebody said he better rat on everybody. He better even rat on Trump. And I think the ratting here is going to play. It's going to be weird, kind of weird how it plays in this instance. And here's why. Because Diddy is the main one that they want. He's the main one that they want. If they can get some others, that's cool. But they want him. So when you are the top, think of it like this. If you were Pablo Escobar, right? You can rap. But they want you to be in there for life. You are Pablo. So yeah, Pablo, tell it on whoever you want. Doesn't benefit you. Because we want you for life. You think they're going to give Pablo Escobar something less than Diddy is the Pablo Escobar of the music industry. So ratting, I think that Diddy's attorneys are going to advise him. We're only going to tell if they're going to be real, if we feel that they are really going to scale some numbers back on the offer and give you a more reasonable offer. Again, if he could even get 10 years, I would tell him, take it. Take that. Okay. What is this? Oh, it says I left off the Carter and Combs update for the person who tipped in very politely. Oh, no. So the Carter and Combs, again, per the book, the two of them used to rendezvous together is one of the facts, but also the fact that Carter was supposed to be the one who tipped Diddy off to the fact that Notorious B.I.G. was leaving, and not just leaving, but leaving and going to start a label with Tupac. Okay. And if the two of them used to be butt buddies, allegedly. I don't believe it's true. That didn't happen to my Beyonce. Someone said, I hope he gets life. So the minimum he could get is 15 years. So that's why I'm saying the offer presented today is going to be something like 30 years. That's why I'm saying there's no deal negotiation. But what they are going to do is he gets what's called a speedy trial. So what that means is the trial. So everybody automatically has a right to a speedy trial. You can waive that right because there's no bail right now. He wants that trial as soon as possible. So that means a trial within a year. In fact, the first offer he's going to get is a trial within 175 days. Now, I believe there's no freaking way they will be ready in 175 days. That's like 6 months, right? Yeah, that's like 6 months. I don't see how the state could be ready. But what happens is, but he can still ask for that. And then it's the state's burden to explain to the judge why they're not ready. So I say that to say, could be a trial as soon as 6 months. but more likely it would be within a year. Hit that like. Yep. Hit that like. Oh, we got another super chat. All right. So I'm about to, let's see. Yeah, he's the head. When you are dealing with the guy at the head, they can tell all they want. You'll take the younger guy, the little guys too, but you got to get to the head to kill the enterprise. You got to get to the head. All these mysteries are making sense now. They're all little pieces of the truth in all of this. And I believe that this book is simply a combination of all the small mysteries, the different stories. And when people are saying, oh, it tracks, it's consistent with Cassie's complaint, that actually makes me feel like I don't know how truthful this book is, because that's all it had to do, right? All it had to do was come up with some stories that are consistent with the other. So I say that to say, I do believe that much of the things disclosed here happened. I just don't necessarily believe that Kim's family thought so highly of this weird man, Chris Todd, who is writing under a name of Jamal, because he knows Black people want to buy this book and Black people want this tea, that they gave this man who is not respected throughout Hollywood or investigative journalism, that they chose that person. Now, if you told me this was given to Joyanne Reed, or that it was given to even Gayle King, but if it was given to a reputable investigative reporter, hell, even Nancy Grace, I believe it a bit more. It says, and Tiffany, my final question, Tiffany says, do I think Diddy will change up his legal team after that last bail hearing? Is that the same team representing him in the other case that he has a default judgment? It absolutely. Okay. So with the default judgment, it's a little different because he needed local counsel, local to Michigan, but they are assisting. They are working together. So he's got local Michigan counsel. And for that one, I believe I did see at least one of the attorneys that's handling this criminal case. Okay. And do I think he's going to change up? No, he's going to add some more people in there. Like I could see him adding Sean Holly. I think he's going to add some more people in there. So it's a great question, Tiffany. Yeah, it's going to be somebody else going to come in there because he ain't happy. And when Diddy is not happy, he fires people. He'll do that real fast and quick in a hurry. He likes to fire people. So thank you guys. Oh, we got a new membership. Don't forget to join that membership, guys, for exclusive content. Thank you again for joining. There'll be more updates later in the week. This is your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. Oh, don't forget, you can hit that Cash App, y'all. That Cash App is MISSREDWINE, Miss Redwine. Thank you again.